Comrades, we'd like to dedicate this town hall to our comrade Frank Stearns, who lost his life this past Friday from the complications of the COVID-19 virus. Frank was a volunteer at the New York office and a veteran of the Vietnam War, member of Vets for Peace. He was always a cheerful man, making everyone feel welcome. To anyone that came or joined or he met, he had great stories. He's just a loving and beautiful spirit that he had, and so we want to let him know that his loving spirit will never be forgotten, and that we dedicate this town hall to him. Now we'd like to. There's Frank.
Because they're using the excuse of the crisis to implement their agenda anyway. Corporations can now pollute as much as they want. They are turning asylum seekers back at the border. State governors are denying abortions. They're getting rid of paid sick leave. Yeah, the paid sick leave that Congress just passed, now they're gutting it. They're making it harder for public workers to organize. And organize we must. You know that the unemployment rate could go as high as 30%. That's higher than during the Depression. And during the Depression, the only way to address the crisis was for the government to provide public works jobs, government jobs. Today, in this situation, that means the Green New Deal plus more. We've got to rebuild the roads, we've got to rebuild the trains, we've got to rebuild the water plants, the electrical grid, the internet, bring it to the country, the bridges, you name it, on a whole new sustainable basis. Will it be enough? I don't know. But if not, then it's got to be whatever it takes to do it. That's what Bernie said in a town hall last week, and I agree with him. Whatever it takes to solve the crisis, we have to fight to make that so.
Hi, my name is Barbara Vereen, and I hear Local 34 in New Haven. Our union our international union represent hotel, hospitality, airline catering, and casino workers. Local 34 in New Haven represent workers at Yale. I want to talk in two parts. The first part is about our international union, which our industry was hit really bad. About 75% of our membership have been laid off or have lost their jobs, and in the process losing their health care. What we have been doing with our international union, as we set up a fund to help our workers out. You'll see we have a donation page. You'll see that come up later. But also we have been petitioning the state and federal legislators around a bill that asks them to not cut off people's utilities, because some of our workers are in some of the lower wage jobs, not to cut off their utilities, and to continue their health care and extend unemployment. And so, as you see, some of those bills have passed. The other thing that we're doing for the workers at Yale, we have about 3,700 members in our bargaining unit. Of those 3,700, 700 of those people are critical workers, which means they come to work every single day during this epidemic. They work in the clinics, they take care of the patients, they work in animal resources. And what we've been doing is we've been pushing Yale to do the right thing by their employees. We've been fighting for safety equipment, for PPE. You know, there's a big shortage around the N95 mask and the surgical mask. We've been pressing them that our workers are on the front line and they're faced with this every day, people coming in and they're not having the proper equipment to do their job or to make sure that they're safe when they come to work. We have been fighting for working conditions to have alternate schedule to create social distancing for our members so that people are not working on top of one another, but also having an alternate staff just in case some of a group of one group gets sick, that it's not infecting everyone, but that they're alternating the staff. We also have been fighting for creating, giving them critical pay in this moment where people are putting their lives on the line, instead and giving them an incentive, but also like holding managers accountable for reducing the amount of staff that's actually needed during this time.
Just a few things to cover some ground, because there's been an out and out informational warfare campaign going on to kind of discredit the Chinese experience and China's response to the virus, which has been, in my opinion, and the opinion of many others, exemplary. Public health experts are in agreement on this. The only people that are really coming out against it are politicians and journalists who have an axe to grind. The thing that strikes me the most right now is I see pictures from the US of the so-called PPE, which we've heard a lot about, personal protective equipment. It's not just anything that provides a barrier against the virus. It's a very specific set of clothing. It's a very specific process by which you put it on and take it off. There's testing you have to do. It's very rigorous, and the PPE, PPE I use very loosely because of a lack of supply is, in some places you're seeing garbage bags, in some places you're seeing bed sheets. The thing that hits me a lot is one of the things that happened in terms of China's response is they moved healthcare professionals, doctors, nurses from all over the country moved into Hubei province and Wuhan, the capital, which were the hardest hit areas of the country. And for about 42,000 of them went in, and most of them, and of those 42,000 people, there wasn't a single infection. And you hear stories right now from healthcare workers in the US saying they're scared, saying that they know people that are being infected, they know people that have died. And as Joe said, there's a better way. Right, there's a right way and a wrong way to do this, and it absolutely kills me that the right way is now being politicized and turned into a cudgel. So the basics, as far as what we need to think about, and I mean, the thing is, you can talk about China's response, but the reason why it happened and the reason why it was successful was because they had a state apparatus, an economic apparatus that could redirect production toward necessary items, PPE, masks, ventilators. The redirection of state industries that you can't do here because there's very few, if any, industries, large industries that are state-owned or operated.
And now I've only got 3 minutes, so I can't quite go into the detail I like, but I want to give everyone some action points from the lessons that we've learned along the way that hopefully you will find helpful. So first and foremost, one of the best things your group can do during this time, if you seriously plan to do mutual aid, is to start collecting donations. Canned food, boxed goods, bottled water, basic medical supplies, if you can find them, clothes, hygiene products, literally anything people are willing to give you. A lot of the public are looking to help out in this time, so you might be surprised with what you can get your hands on just through canvassing your contacts. And if there's a group in your area that's currently doing some outreach or some sort of mutual aid, you can take some of the donations that you've received and pass on some goods to them. And by doing so, you're building those relationships and expanding your network through that exchange.
Here's some of the resources, grant space, resources for individuals and nonprofits, small businesses, National Alliance for Mental Illness, resources organized around questions regarding the COVID, questions people have regarding the virus, the Center for Disease Control information about all aspects, One fair wage resources amid and at restaurants, aimed at restaurants and other type of tip workers who have lost income. The AFL-CIO resources for all workers, especially those organized in AFL-CIO unions. Union Plus offers financial, homeowner, and healthcare assistance for union members and families. A national National Restaurant Association Industry Relief Fund for workers, and the state of California information about benefits and on the virus.